Welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast.
You don't know history, you don't know wrestlers, you don't know matches.
My belly's just a little big, my hand is just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
There is no revolution.
You are truly the future of Lucha Underground.
I got it. How about a little heel turn?
And if they piss somebody, if they took somebody off here, well then, there goes their career.
Well, don't piss anybody off.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. The wrestling podcast to review Monday Night Raw and give all of you beautiful people the wrestling news of the week. Of course, this name and the name of the person speaking to you now in this brilliant audio format, the upgrade, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, can you feel it now? Can you do it? My voice, of course, is Turbo Tony's voice. Speaking right directly to you, to your soul, dare I say. But I don't do this alone. A man who has been with me through thick and thin when it comes to this show, and yet we're reaping the rewards as of this week. He don't want none. No. He don't want none. He don't want none. No. He don't want none. It's Matt AJ Styles. Oh, Matt Marsander Styles. I fucked up that bit. But yeah, it's Matt Marsander.
I was half expecting just like, unless you got buns, hun?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. But yeah, no, I much prefer that one.
Yeah. To be fair, what I usually do when I'm coming up with an intro for you there, Matt, is try and find out what happened in the world over the course of this week. Nothing really spoke to me, so I just ham-fisted that in there. So, yeah.
We can go with that.
You could take that as if I didn't really care about you that much, if you like. Yeah. Harsh. Burn.
Sad now.
How you, apart from that sadness, Matt, how are you doing this week?
Sad now. I'm doing all right.
Sad Matt is sad.
Sad Matt is sad. No, doing good. Civil War's out. That's what my excitement for at the moment. I don't know. I had this terrible... I think my biggest problem is recently I've sort of... We'll go on to it, but I'm sort of like... I had a sudden realization that WWE is becoming like WCW.
Oh, okay.
For the purpose of, I like all of the show except for the main event.
Okay, fair enough.
And I've been noticing it's a trend.
Well, you have to depend on what WCW you're talking about, of course, because, towards the latter stages of WCW's life, not even the rest of the show was fine, but...
True.
But there we are. Yes, Civil War is coming out. It's already come out. You're going to go see. You were booking the tickets just before we started this podcast.
I was arguing with the site.
So, Matt, what are you most looking forward to with Civil War? What are you looking forward to?
Scarlett Johansson.
That's a pretty damn good answer right there. Yeah. can't really top that, really.
Fortunately, watching it with a girlfriend, so it's going to be interesting.
The only thing I thought was a bit weird, though, Matt, you saw the trailer clearly with Spider-Man in it, which is the big deal, right? Does it not look like he's wearing, like, a painted-on bodysuit rather than an actual, like, spider suit?
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know whether they're going to change that or not, but it looks like he got body painted on. So
yeah.
Who knows?
He looks like he's entirely CG, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So I guess that's probably why.
I'm sure it'll be fine. We watched Batman versus Superman together, and Matt, all I have to say is our mothers had the same name, therefore we love each other.
That's it.
Anyway,
the fights will be resolved in such a manner.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you know what? That the grand blood feud between Ambrose and Seth Rollins that happened last year, that could have been just solved if they had known each other's mothers' names, had matched up.
Your mum's Barbara? My mum's Barbara.
Yeah. Then all of it could have been solved very easily on that front. But alas, it can't always be the way. Of course, if you guys do want to interact with us, you can do so via our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. You can also send a tweet to us on the fabled Twitter handle
of @TalkWrestlePod.
It is indeed that Twitter handle. Matt, I was thinking the other day, how did we manage to get to this point where where I'm leading up to that plug? Is it just because we've done like over 100 episodes?
I reckon it probably comes down to just sheer repetition. Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, yeah. Of course, if you want to send us any audio questions or emails of the private variety, yes, very much. You can send it to Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com. And we do have a packed show for you there this week. We've got some interesting news. We have fan feedback. We have a little bit of talk about NXT this week. We have Matt's super sexy trivia adventure. I've got the full name for it later. You know how it goes. And of course, we've got our Raw review, which is the go-home show, which means we have payback predictions this week. Plenty to get through, Matt. I think we talked a little bit of procrastination earlier on. I don't think we've got any time to do anymore.
No, it's very true.
Should we get straight into it then?
Yeah. Why the hell not?
Let's do it. So the news this week, we've got some interesting news stories. The first of which is kind of a follow-up on the unfortunate death of Chyna last week. We had a few questions in regards to that last week, which obviously we'll get to this week. The news had come out, Matt, that it seems to be that her death came from accidental overdose from her prescription medication.
Yeah.
I think she had like Ambien and like another drug that were prescribed. It's just nothing, under the counter sort of thing, right? Matt, it's a shame to me with this, because if that is the case, maybe Chyna didn't know that she was overdosing. This was an accident. This wasn't, her trying to do this, and that's maybe she made a mistake. It's all what ifs at this point, right? We're not going to know, and nothing really changes in the fact that it's just still it's a really bad situation. It's really, really sad on that front. And then we actually got a question later on in the show, Matt, that I think that whoever left it was obviously, it's just quite, it's about Chyna. Left it, just, what about this? And unfortunately, my response to it is incredibly depressing. So I'm going to warn everyone on that front. But
okay, we got a downer coming.
Yeah, we got a downer coming on this show, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's just, it's just the way it is the way it drops. Matt, did you hear about the story about Ric Flair this week?
Oh, the fact that he was nearly too drunk to get on a plane.
Well, here's the thing. It's conflicting reports, okay? So what we can ascertain is that at very least, Ric Flair at an airport was bleeding from his head. Now, what made him bleed from his head, we don't know, because at this point, it could be a blade, it could be a sharp change in temperature that could make him bleed. Literally, I could look at him in the wrong way and he will bust open. This is Ric Flair we're talking about.
He'd probably do it intentionally.
Yeah, right? It's just the way he is what he does.
The Doctor. Nobody called him Dr. Flair for nothing.
Dr. Flair, right, yeah. In fact, I'm actually quite shocked his head isn't even in a worse state, At the very least, when he blades, he does somewhat of a good job of it, but there we are.
That's it.
Now, other reports, Matt, say that he was drunk while this was happening. Now, he was belligerent. Yeah, he was kind of throwing, not fighting people, but throwing his weight around and being a little bit crass to people. But that's just other reports. They haven't been...
I'd love to just do you know who I am? I'd love to just imagine it. Yeah.
It's not that far to, because, listen, I'm going to say this, and a lot of Flair fans are probably going to get a bit pissed at me for saying this. Flair generally has a pattern of being with a company for a certain period of time. This is just recently. Getting with a company for a certain period of time, let's say WWE, being with them for a little while, and then having something like this come up, which kind of costs him what's going on. The last time this happened was the whole, and it sucks, he shouldn't have been booked for it, but alas, it happened, was the video game panel that got Jim Ross fired, right? That he went on and he kind of hijacked things. This isn't the first time we've heard stuff like this regarding Flair, right? Now, we don't know. We don't know for sure if he was drunk. If he was intoxicated, I don't think he would have been allowed to fly, which he was. He was allowed to go onto that plane and fly. But if he was, and for some reason managed to get on the plane, apparently WWE are investigating it. And Matt, to me, maybe this is just me, I think this is very black and white here. I think if Flair was intoxicated and WWE finds out, simple, he'll be fired.
Yeah.
And if not, he won't be. It's pretty much as easy as that. So, and I don't know what WWE's investigations will do more than what other people were able to do, but it was a bad week for Flair considering he slipped up. Did you see the SmackDown promo he did?
Oh, just like, why don't you just die or something like that?
He told Natalya to kill herself.
That's it.
That's like, whoa, that is not PG.
It's stepping a bit far, yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that wasn't in the who knows? They said some worse things like you should have died in the womb and
oh god, yeah.
You know, talk about Flair's,
But to be perfectly honest, it came from Flair, so it had a lot more conviction than Nikki Bella.
Yeah. He said conviction. He always looked like he was shocked he said it himself after he did.
It's like, why did you just kill yourself? Wait, no, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, wait a minute. SmackDown, they can edit it out. It's fine. I don't know if they did or not. I don't
think they did, actually. So I heard the report that happened, and then the footage looked like TV footage.
Mm.
It wasn't like some guy in the crowd's camera phone.
Mm. I get you. So it's one of those things that he's had a bad week. Do I think he was intoxicated? I don't know. It's Ric Flair. Who knows, right?
He could have been. But yeah, exactly. You say who knows. He's Ric Flair. I'm pretty sure if there's one person in the industry who knows how to carry off drunk, it's probably him.
To a degree. Yeah, I thought his manager's reply to the whole thing was fantastic. He was saying that, yes, I do know that Rick has been keeping airport bars open for a number of years, and I'm like, yeah, because you can't really deny it at this point, but you can kind of say that he wasn't at this particular problem. But
I mean, speaking of drunk former talent, did you not hear about Marty Jannetty?
I did.
Who did?
Oh yeah. Well, we've had someone tell us before that, Marty wins whenever we talk about him because that's all he wants to do. Well, yeah. So
part truth in there, I suppose.
It could always be worse. He could always be sunny. So there is that.
Very true.
Could be worse.
She will never win.
No, she won't. There's a few releases from WWE this week. A couple of their announced team or backstage kind of interviewers, etc. Yeah, one of those lot. One of them I was very shocked at, Rich Brennan, Matt. He's gone. Now, people may be wondering, who's Rich Brennan? He's actually the guy that was part of that 3-man NXT booth with Corey Graves and Byron Saxton.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the play-by-play, right? I thought he was pretty good. I thought it was certainly okay.
The trouble is, I think that I think the problem is they've got that point now where it's like, oh well, we've got people for backstage. We've got Renee and we've got JoJo and Tom Phillips. He's still around, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's still doing.
You know what? It's now hit a point. I don't even. Oh yeah, he's on NXT, isn't he? But he does backstage at TV. That they're like, oh well, do we need all of these guys? I don't know. And now suddenly, like, oh, he was a pretty good play-by-play, but they've got a new play-by-play guy who's much better than Rich Brennan.
Yeah, you literally took my note straight away from me there, Matt. It's like it's one of those things where they literally just signed Mauro Ranallo, who's miles above the rest.
Yeah.
So when you're being the third...
If you want a play-by-play guy, they've got Ranallo.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And of course they got Michael Cole, which will not be unhinged for a very long time.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is. It sucks for him, though, because I tell you what, one of the things that I kind of annoyed me a little bit about this, Matt, I think you said before that you feel a bit differently. I'm not a fan of Tom Phillips and Corey Graves on commentary. That teaming together just doesn't. I don't like it.
Actually, originally I was a bit like, yeah, I don't mind it, and like watching. I haven't watched all of NXT this week. I've literally managed to catch like 15 minutes, and even then, I'm like, this is painful.
Yeah, I don't like it, and to be honest, I'm not going to say that Tom Phillips is one of those guys that is so bad he brings other people down, but Corey Graves has got one.
I'm not saying that Tom Phillips is the problem. He just is.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be working. Not at least for me. Maybe other people feel differently. I'm just not a big fan of the commentary the way they have it. And he's not bad, Tom Phillips. He's just mediocre. He's average. He's the usual guy. There's nothing really that extra about the guy. And you could find hundreds of people like him. I know it's quite a damning thing to say, but listen, if you want to make yourself valuable to the company, you need to be exemplary in something.
Yeah, I mean, the one problem is actually during NXT that I realised I'm starting to get bored of Corey Graves as well.
I just think it's the dynamic just not working. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
but hopefully,
if Graves would kindly take his tongue out of Eva Marie's arsehole.
Oh yeah,
I'd be very happy with that.
Well, he's got to sell the heels, isn't he?
Fucking, they're selling the heel, and then there's just fucking. Oh my god!
Oh, guys, I think there's an Eva Marie rant coming in the NXT portion of this episode because me and Matt were talking about it, and you're not too happy with Miss Marie
with the Red Queen or whatever the hell. It's like the Red Queen. That's a Game of Thrones reference, and she is not that good.
Well,
I'll stop.
It could be what. Stop. We won't do any spoilers for Game of Thrones because, there could be a thing where she takes off her choker and suddenly she doesn't look as good as she used to.
All of a sudden, she's a 400-year-old lady.
I said no spoilers, Matt. What's going on? But still. It's been a week, guys.
The internet is dark and full of spoilers.
Exactly. Another guy who got released, Arda Okal. And you may not even know this guy because, to be honest, I wouldn't blame you. He was one of the guys that you mainly probably would have seen popping up on your Facebook feed on WWE on like the 5 things.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So he's gone as well, which is funny because I think he took over from someone who left as well.
He took over from Tom Phillips. Tom Phillips used to do it.
Well, there you go. He's find someone new to fill that very invaluable slot, of course. He wasn't around for that long, or if he was, barely even knew of the guy. So hopefully, I honestly mean this with no irony. I wish him best in his future endeavors. I really do. Like, that's kind of the only way I can go around it, right?
That's it.
Didn't really know the guy too much, or didn't really see him that often, but okay. Looks like WWE are trying to trim the fat a little bit when it comes to some of these backstage interviewers. So it wouldn't be the first time.
They're hiring a lot of illustrious talent in NXT, and they're like, crap, we need to afford these people.
Yeah. That's the one thing I was thinking there about it with NXT recently, Matt, is that how much is that really a profit for them? I'm pretty sure it's not, right? So it's one of those things that, like, sooner or later, WWE's they're gonna have a serious look at how much the entire package of that developmental really costs. When really, that developmental building has been a kind of a dud. And the reason I say that is because they seem to have resorted to hiring the likes of Eric Young, right?
Yeah.
Who showed up at NXT tapings. Why would you sign someone like Eric Young when you've got this brilliant performance center, you've got all this new talent coming in, and for some reason you can't seemingly get them where they need to go? So a little bit of a problem there, but still. Talking of someone that might be able to help WWE, Matt, a certain John Cena is returning on Memorial Day.
Whoa.
I'm sure Vince is elated with this. And you know what, Matt? I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, fucking John Cena, he's back. I'm actually happy to see him back. And the reason why, Matt, I think it will give them more food for thought for turning Reigns heel, which is the biggest problem in WWE at the moment. That they just don't want to turn this guy fucking heel, even though it makes complete sense. Cena's back. He's the smiling face of WWE. He can be that face that does all the media appearances, and they can turn Reigns heel, finally get it done. You don't even need a lengthy heel run, maybe 9 months, and that will get rid of a lot of the problems he has at the moment. So there you go. I tell you what, though, Matt, one thing you have to give props to Cena back with, he is a fucking machine. 9 months he was told that he was going to be out for.
Yeah, and here we are with 5, and he's just like, yep, I'm back.
Yeah, listen, everyone can hate him all they like, but you've got to admire the man's work ethic. It's
one point he's like, they put him down as what is like Mr. Recovery or something.
Yeah, he's almost an enigma at this point, right? I'm sure that doctors looking at him like, we're kind of afraid to give you a scheduled time of recovery because clearly it doesn't apply to you.
Yeah.
Fair play to the guy. I'm not going to... All I'll say is I'm jealous. There you go. I'll admit it. I'd love to... I'd love for... I'm still walking around a broken leg I had 5 years ago, and he's jumping around of all the shit he's doing. Yeah. Good on the guy. Fuck him, but good on him. Dick. All right then, Matt. Do you have any other news stories to bring to the table this week?
I can't say I do. It's been, to be fair, quite a quiet week.
Yeah, not in terms of a massive news story that blew everything wide open, but there was a few little ones in there that I thought we could talk about there this week. And of course, if you guys listening want us to cover any of the news stories that we may have missed, then just leave them in the comments section and we'll catch you next week. Easy as. Doesn't matter. We will always get to whatever you guys want us to get us to. If you want us to talk about something, then you leave it in the comments, Matt. We'll always get to it. Every single time. Talking of leaving things in the comments, we have some fan feedback to get into. Oh, yes. And one thing I'm really excited about this there, Matt. Thomas Oliver left us a message this week as one of the long-term fans of the podcast. Awesome stuff. Very happy with that. He says, another brilliant podcast. Thank you very much. At the beginning of the year, we watched Wrestle Kingdom 10. He's wondering if we've watched New Japan Pro Wrestling Invasion Attack. And if so, what did we think of it? No, I haven't. I tell you the reason why, though, because I am a big fan of the New Japan Pro Wrestling product, right? I'm a big fan of just even the way that they go about their business. It's hard to keep track, considering myself and Matt have at very least like 5 hours of Western wrestling to watch over the course of a week.
True.
We're both busy guys. Like Matt works a lot. I'm at home, but I'm a fucking house dad, right? So I've got a lot of other stuff to do than watching shit. Honestly, I don't have a lot of time to get through a lot of stuff, especially on pay-per-view week like this week where we've got to watch another 3 hours. It quickly adds up.
Burnt
out.
Well, hey, check out our WrestleMania week.
Yeah, right. Mental. I'm still only kind of recovering a little bit from it, if I'm honest. You know, what I will say, though, is I'm going to try in some of my spare time to get to it because I hate not giving a decent answer. I will try and very least watch a couple of the big matches, the big name matches. But I think that New Japan is obviously they're in good hands with Okada and Tanahashi, Matt. You're looking at two legendary figures at this point in that company. I know Styles, Nakamura left, but I think you're witnessing at the moment in New Japan the rise of Kenny Omega as a big-time player.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm one of the people that thinks that he's going to become a big, big star.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite odd because it's like, what was I listening to earlier? I was listening earlier the Jericho podcast with Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
Really good one.
Mm-hmm.
But he was saying about how, like, people watch the Super Bowl if they're not big American football fans because it's the biggest event. Not so much the case of WrestleMania because it's the diehards that go to WrestleMania, their Super Bowl equivalent. I'm like a guy who doesn't really watch football, American football, but will watch the Super Bowl when it comes to like New Japan.
Yeah.
Like I'll watch Wrestle Kingdom, but I don't think I'll go out. I don't really go out of my way to try to keep up to date with New Japan.
Yeah, I know they have like a good service for getting it. I think it's New Japan World, and they have, like I said, they got JR now doing commentary.
It's always on my sort of stream channels and things like that.
Yeah, it's
like you're saying. It's like, you know, I've got 5 hours to try and watch.
Yeah, and even after that point, like sometimes our view on things will be a bit skewed because we're burnt out at that point in the week.
Yeah.
But I will have a look at it, see if I can at least catch a couple of matches here and there. And I tell you what, though, if you really want me to do it, Thomas, leave me 2 of the big matches on the night. I'm sure there's probably Tanahashi, Okada, and
I keep promising myself I'll watch more Ring of Honor, and I don't.
Yeah. We'll try and get to it because we want to give some more overview and things and just expand our viewership and stuff like that. But it just comes at a price, right? So it's kind of hard that way. But Yeah, I'll definitely try over the course of the week, especially with us doing the Lucha Underground reviews weekly now, Matt. It's our schedule getting very big in terms of the podcast, which we like. It's awesome being able to put that out. Christian Welch, I think this is his first question, so welcome to this happy little tavern that we have. He asks, if the Bullet Club becomes a thing, how long do we think a Bullet Club versus Samoan Dynasty feud will be? Go on, Matt. I'll let you have this one.
I don't know. How does that? Like, how long would one last? Or
That's how I look at it, anyway.
3 months, usual.
You
I don't know. I don't think we'll have a long running. I don't think we'd have a long standing thing. In fact, one of my questions is, do we think we'll get like Reigns and Usos, which I'm assuming is the Samoan Dynasty?
Yeah.
Against Bullet Club.
Yeah, I think that's
we will. Yeah. We don't. Well, even if they don't call it the Bullet Club, like, we're definitely going to get AJ, Anderson, and Gallows versus Reigns and Usos. Yeah. In fact, we're bound. That's probably going to be like lined up for, you know, pay-per-view after Payback.
Yeah, that's where I see it going. And obviously that's a little bit of a spoiler for our predictions later on in the show. But yeah, I think we're going to see a Bullet Club, but not by that name. It's basically going to have the same guys in it, right? But how long the rivalry will be, Matt, I'll go a little bit less than you. I think 2 months. And you may not even see the same match. You might not see like 3-on-3. I think you're going to see at very least one 3-on-3 match. I think at a pay-per-view. I think that's probably where it's going.
Yeah, I reckon we'll get a 6-man tag match out of it.
Yeah, and I think if they do one again, obviously, well, they should put a stipulation in there or something along those lines. Whether or not they go for a full 3 for a 3-on-3 feud involving the champion, it means that you don't have a title shot in 3 months, which is a bit strange. So unless they do a thing of, well, if Styles' team wins, he wins the championship, which they could do, but I don't know whether or not they would think about whether or not that's even in their plans.
Or if his team wins and then Jimmy gets the pinfall, Roman loses his rag, attacks the Usos,
goes heel. We're just getting desperate now, Matt. We're just getting desperate.
I don't know whether it's called desperate. It's just, you know, it's just sort of like taking it down the paths that it could go. And he can go, and then Reigns can finally go, you know what? Yeah, I'm a bad guy.
He finally just goes, you know what? I'm a prick. That's basically just comes out and says, you know what? I'm a dickhead.
I'm a bit of a dick.
And I love being a dickhead. So
that's it.
You all. Yeah. There's a little thing about that, right? That I want to talk about Reigns. Fuck it, I'm going to do it now. I'm sure it's in my notes or whatever. You know, their natural assumption is that with Reigns, it's just the hardcore crowds that are booing him, and eventually the crowds.
No, don't forget we're cheering him.
Yeah, of course. That's that by commentary's logic. But it's one of those things here with them is that they've now gone a full month after WrestleMania, and he's been booed for shit. He's been getting booed for shit for close on 3 months, right? Yeah. Non-stop. It's going to get to a point where WWE is going to have to look at it and be like, listen, like, it's coming to a point where we're going to actually have to look at this because it's not working. And it's not just hardcore fans that are doing this. It is all of our fans.
Yeah.
And
like, they better fix this shit before they hit somewhere like Philadelphia. Well, Philadelphia's kind of one of the ruckus crowds, but like if they roll into Chicago, have they?
I tell you what, even Matt, it's not even so much a point of that. I think they're going to walk into any place now and he's going to get received.
Yeah.
Like it's got that toxic now. Like, it's got that toxic to a point where the Usos standing by Roman Reigns are getting booed for being too close to Roman Reigns.
Association, yeah.
Yeah, he's toxic. He really is. But we're going to get to that a little bit in the Raw review. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit there, but still. Anthony Smash asks, which jobber do we feel the worst for? His pick is Tyler Breeze. I feel a little bit bad for Alex Riley this week after firing shots at Solomonster. He seems to be losing his mind, but that's Alex Riley. He kind of does this random stuff, and we're biased because Solomonster came on our show. Of course, we're going to...
Well, he's rage, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he raged at Solar Monster, and oh god, he's feeling it, isn't he? Oh yeah, he's definitely avoiding, him being on the show, despite giving him all the details he needs to get in contact with him to get on the show. But still, let's not get too much involved in that, Matt. It's got nothing to do with us, of course. Eventually we're going to piss off some talent, and they're going to say something. It's inevitable. At the moment, Matt, the jobber I feel the worst for is Adam Rose. And
is it because not for the fact of his booking? It's just the fact you feel bad because he now doesn't have a job for the next sort of few weeks.
Yeah, 60 days, right?
Yeah, but he's part way into it.
Yeah. It's kind of like that, right? Because you look at his reply. He put out a statement, which I think was excellently worded, by the way, because he put the ball in WWE's court, right? Because he kind of made it so if you got fired, man, WWE looks like a bunch of dicks, right? It really does, which is true, right? But Adam Rose, he clearly felt so strongly that he had been wronged by his suspension that he was willing to put his job on the line and make a statement like that. And he's got so much on the line, right, when it comes to his family. And all we've heard, Matt, since his suspension is loads of people coming out and saying we were shocked about this because he's a model employee. He shows up on time. He does his stuff no matter how bizarre and fucking wacko it is. He jobs, right, which is clearly one of his employment revolves around jobbing, right? He doesn't make a fuss and then leaves. He's pretty much the model employee for WWE, and they sort of shit on him a little bit here. That's the way he looks.
Yeah, and he just goes about it sort of like, thank you, sir, can I have another?
Yeah. Maybe, Matt, maybe I'm biased. Maybe it's because I'm a father. I know how it feels to be worried every day that you're being the father that you need to be. So I'm putting myself in his shoes, not being able to work for 2 months, not being able to bring in money. That sucks. Right? And if he honestly feels like he's been wronged and it's not his fault, then even more so.
Yeah.
Which is a big shame on that front.
However...
Go on. What's your pick?
I think I feel the most sorry for Sandow.
Damien Sandow. That's quite a pick. Go on. Do explain.
Well, he is pretty much a jobber.
Yeah.
Ever since the whole Miz thing nearly paid off and then got shat on at the last minute.
I thought the payoff was quite good. It's just the follow-up was crap, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now, my biggest problem with it is he's now such a jobber. They're like, hey, look who's in the ring. It's Damien Sandow for a match that never happens.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can argue that he's not a jobber because he didn't job to Corbin, but he's now that low down the viewing, that far down the list. It's like
he kind of be lucky to job nowadays. That's kind of the situation he's in, right?
So maybe he's not a jobber. He's not cared enough to even job.
Oh well, that's even more depressing, isn't it? Jeez, fucking hell, that is. Maybe that's true. Maybe it is. But I feel bad. The reason why I bring up Tyler Breeze, even though he's not the person I feel the worst of, I do feel really bad for the guy, is because he's more of an example of, listen, they did the whole Breaking Ground stuff and they put him on a pedestal saying they did the storybook ending of, he's being, that was the final part of Breaking Ground.
Yeah.
And they did
like, guys, he's done it and he's earned his spot and we're all proud of him and everyone like come together, group hug.
Yeah, that's right. People are almost tearing up for the guy, right? He's worked so hard. Yeah. He worked so hard to be treated like a pile of shit, right? And that's why he's the example right there. But still, I think that kind of that argument is waning a little bit more considering the guys they've brought in. And so far, I don't think they've done too much wrong with them so far, but we'll get to that soon. He also asks, here's my depressing response. He also asks, if Chyna gets inducted, who would actually induct her into the Hall of Fame?
Oh, yeah. That's kind of difficult.
Yeah, and I'm going to explain why. So this is a far bigger question than you probably thought it was, Anthony, because I'll go through the list, right? You can't have Triple H because China's documented statements regarding him and the fact that I don't think Triple H would want to, right? Yeah. He would do so for good publicity, I think, but I'm sure Stephanie wouldn't be happy with it, right? So Triple H he's probably not going to be done. Even though in terms of career, he would be the ideal person. If you're just taking her body of work, not all the personal stuff.
Well, I mean, the only unfortunate thing is then, I'm guessing the route you're going is, so not Triple H. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The next logical person, unfortunately, is dead.
Yes,
and that would have been Eddie.
It would have been Eddie, right? And he's gone, right? Which is a shame, but that's just the way things have gone. You can't have X-Pac because it's the same deal, and you've got the sex tape stuff, so WWE would never pair the two of them together for that, right? You can't trust someone like Vince Russo, who was very close friends with Chyna, because I'm sure that you just know he would use
just sort of like being given a microphone on WWE TV, and he's just like, ha, 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 ha. bro.
Yeah. Listen, I don't think he would start ranting on all of his stuff, but he would rant on behalf of Chyna, and it would make it very awkward, and so, of course, WWE probably shut him off and everything. He's not going to be done. So you think of, okay, so pretty much professionally, who makes sense after that? Maybe no one really. So the next person you go to then, like Paul Bearer's family, was his family, right? His actual immediate family. Chyna didn't have any children. She had a very tough relationship with her parents. Her father's dead, and her mother, I think she mended her relationship with her mother, but it's still been a tough relationship right there. So you're looking at this woman, and suddenly you start realizing that, fucking hell, she was quite alone, right? All the people that she had worked with, she had alienated a lot of people by her statements. A lot of it was by her own design, some of it not, but some of it was by her own design with some of the stuff that she said about X-Pac, Sean Waltman, and then Sean Waltman came out and very, he was very
openly and went, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, basically, he said, I think they even went on the radio show, look, hook me up to a lie detector. And then suddenly she started backtracking, going, oh, no, I didn't mean any of this. And she did alienate a lot of people for the attention that she so desperately needed because she felt alone. And it's kind of like this really desperate, sad, depressing. It's really sad that I don't have an answer for this question because all those avenues
are... I mean, going down that list, and then you sort of go into DX, and so you're almost like, well, Road Dogg? He's still in the company.
I know.
And on good terms with him, but he's not proper tied in.
Yeah, Billy Gunn's not there, right?
Exactly. Billy Gunn's not in a good place with the company right now.
The only other thing I could say is that you could say, oh, she was a legend of women's wrestling, so you get someone like Trish or Lita to do it, right? That's the only thing I could. But the thing is, then there's barely any relation there. It's kind of sad. It really is. It's depressing because I was going through less stuff. There's got to be someone that they could pick out, and I'm sure maybe there's someone that she spent some time with. Maybe Jericho because of the whole Intercontinental Championship thing. Maybe
that would be it.
I think that's the very much stretching it there, and I think that's really sad. But that's the way it goes. And maybe that contributed a lot, maybe, to the sadness that she had in the latter stages of her life. But that's quite depressing. I think we need to move on from that. So,
yeah,
there we are. Billy McGee asks, will Shinsuke Nakamura ever be WWE champion? My answer, Matt, I wonder if you agree with this. Out of all the Japanese talent currently alive in this world, I think Nakamura has the best chance.
Agreed.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
The reason why I think that, though, Matt, and I wonder if you do feel the same, he has the charisma that transcends past the language barrier. A lot of talent comes in through Japan, even Hideo Itami to a degree, and it's kind of hard sometimes that you get full invested with them when they try and get involved in a very heated rivalry because when they try and speak, it doesn't translate that well.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like and when you can't get your message across the way you want to, it's very hard to be charismatic in the same sense. You know, that's the way it is. The way Nakamura is charismatic, he doesn't need words for it. He just is, right? That and the fact he's a world-class wrestling talent. So that the stars will have to align. Injuries would have to happen. Faith would have to be put in him. Vince would have to decide that's what he wants, because we all know the history of him booking talent in that region, right? I'm not going to go into a full racist thing. I don't think it calls for it, but I'm just making a statement, right?
But you've always turned around and said that Vince isn't racist. Vince only sees green.
He does.
And I'd like to think he's smart enough to know that Nakamura is money.
Okay, I'm going to explain something. I didn't want to get into this too much, and this is going to be slightly controversial, but I feel like I have to, and I have needed to speak about this in a while.
I've twisted your arm. I apologize.
Right, here we go. So, you're completely right, Matt. I think that Vince would make him world champion if it made money. And I do think he would make money. But here's the thing. I need to be very careful about what I say. Maybe, just maybe, because I know there's a lot of people in the world that aren't as enlightened as the rest of us. And even if they are, they're not entirely comfortable, right? There's still some people out there that they want the All-American world champion. They want the John Cena champion, right?
Yeah.
To have Nakamura, who's a Japanese man wrestling for WWE as their world champion, with some section of fans, I'm sure that they wouldn't say it, but they would think, I don't quite like this. I'm not comfortable with this.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they're racist. Some of these people may have been brought up and they just don't, I hope I understand people coming from. I'm like walking through a minefield here.
I want Hulk Hogan.
What I'm saying is that I'm sure that there's a section of fans, paying fans, who would rather spend money for a John Cena as a world champion, even if he's not as good or even as entertaining as Nakamura.
Yeah.
We're still in the development. We're still in an era of change when it comes to socially, right? And that's not everyone. And we're now in a period of time where that certainly doesn't equate to a large majority of fans. But the difference is John Cena appeals to everyone. Nakamura appeals to
us.
So I'm sure that will go through Vince's mind, and I'm sure a lot of his workers will go to him and say, well, through this demographic, how well would they accept a Japanese world champion? Yeah. It's all about the business. It's all about the numbers. And I'm sure that Vince would do it. I'm sure he doesn't have a problem with it if it made him the money. I'll leave it with that. I don't want to go too far because I'm sure someone's going to run with us and say Tony's calling America a bunch of racists. No, that's not what I'm saying. But you have to be wary of that, right? Because putting the championship on someone is a business move, right? Yeah, I'll leave it at that because otherwise I'll go too far. I'll offend someone, which I really don't, right? I hope some people understand what I'm saying on that front. So what I'm saying is maybe currently at the moment, the overall audience, there's a small chunk that maybe aren't ready for a Japanese world champion. So, and that doesn't necessarily make them racist. It's we're in transitional period. But there we go. Just saying that. And there we go. Moving on from that absolute minefield.
Quick.
Yeah. Maybe I need to write an article about that because then I at least have more time and I can edit and do stuff like that to have more of a general thought of it. If you guys do want to leave any questions, you can do so via all the social media hullabaloo that we have up on the graphics and obviously in the description below.
It's one of the best words, isn't it?
Hullabaloo. It is. As soon as I said it, I felt right. It felt good. It felt right. So yeah, if you want to leave any questions, do so there. We'll be more than happy to answer them as we do every single week here on this show. And of course, it is time to talk about NXT. Here we go. Matt, let us talk about Eva Marie versus Asuka.
Don't make me do this.
Okay.
I don't want to. I'm going to be known as the ragey one.
Yeah, you've been raging out a lot recently, especially when it comes to the women. Is everything in your relationship okay, Matt? Is there something you're not telling me?
Fine.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure?
It really is.
I have to start getting worried. You start getting really annoyed with like wrestlers that are best friends and just raging about them for some reason. I'll be like, "Are you okay with me? Right? Are you right? Do you want to continue being co-hosts of this show?"
I think we need to talk.
All right, let's talk about it. So, Eva Marie faced Asuka, not in a title match, in a non-title match. These are still the tapings that happened at the Access show. There's even some. I wonder if you saw it, Matt. Every now and then they do a camera angle. You can literally see the rest of the Access stuff. They've tried to make it so it looks like its own little mini arena.
Yeah.
But every now and then they show you that it's just literally in the middle.
They cut off, and you're suddenly like, I see through your trickery.
Yeah, that's it. It's not the TNA trickery where they're filming one side of the arena because the other side isn't full. No, it's not that sort of trickery. So, here's my problem with this match, and then I'll let Matt do his thing. So, the very idea that Eva Marie would be able to muster this much offense, because guys, listen, even some people, Matt disagrees with me that she dominated this match. Even at least we can agree that it was at least 50-50 in terms of offense, right? That even that much against Asuka, that's going to take some fucking selling right there because Eva's not good enough to make that work yet. So when you've got her putting on her version of a wrestling clinic on Asuka, and Asuka's sitting there and taking all this damage and selling it, it's a little bit like... But the moves don't look that good, right? She doesn't look like she's... Like, when Asuka kicks someone, she's kicking them. And it fucking looks like it hurt. There was a point in this match where she did kick Eva very hard, and it sounded like it hurt. When Eva does exactly the same thing, there's no response to it. It's like, it doesn't... There's no impact. It's all still airy-fairy. The moves that she's like, was it? She did the senton. It's the worst looking senton in history, right? It's awful. She's got some moves in her arsenal now, but I think I don't even think this match was her fault, Matt. Before I let you go off, I think that Asuka shouldn't be wrestling Eva Marie. You shouldn't have them anywhere close to each other, unless you're going to tell a story much like they did with Bayley in that great match a couple of months ago. Yeah. She should be wrestling people to still make sure that they take her as legit, because people don't at this current moment. So that's the issue here. Matt, go for it. Do your thing.
I don't like Eva Marie.
What a great rant. Let's move.
I just do not. I don't get it. I just don't. Oh, it's like earlier on when I said that I'm actually starting to get a bit annoyed with Corey Graves.
Okay.
He's told to push Eva Marie, but it's terrible. It's like she's the most attractive thing in the world. Like, shut up, Tom. Eva's in the ring. I want to talk all about Eva Marie. I'm like, I'd rather wish you fucking wouldn't. But it's
is that the point, Matt? Because she's a heel, right?
I don't want her to fuck off. She doesn't even. She shuffles into clotheslines. She can't run the ropes. She fucking takes it. She's like just like chicken steps the whole way. It's like Oh, I fucking hated it.
Do you think that she's genuinely afraid that she wrestles like someone who's afraid that if she goes 100%, she might hurt someone? You know,
she's scared she might hurt herself.
Yeah,
she's not scared about hurting other people.
I tell you what, though, Matt, it's one of those things here that we've been positive with Eva Marie, because it's one of those things that it's like, I say positive. We've been a little bit forgiving over the last couple of months when it comes to her, because we're like, okay, we accept it. She's not that good, right? But we see that she does a suplex a little bit better than she did 3 months ago. So you know what? Instead of just being the Debbie Downers, we'll focus on that. We'll try and stay positive. It's when she's up against someone so clearly superior in every aspect in that ring that suddenly the contrast of how bad she still is, it's still quite there. So,
but the way they're like playing it up, like she's facing Asuka, this may as well be a title match. She deserves everything. She deserves fuck all. So she improved a little bit. Woo.
There was actually one point in this match, Matt, and I don't know if it was me. Asuka kicked her in the chest very hard, and it landed straight on her left tit. And I was wondering, did that rupture a breast implant right there? It was that hard.
That cost her time in her career. But that did cost her some time in her career, because she had a rupture. And it's like, oh my God.
It happens. It happens. It happens to the best of women. I think even Chyna actually had a ruptured breast implant during a match. Mickey James had a ruptured breast implant in a match. So.
I know.
There we are.
But
they weren't as bad as Eva Marie.
I just don't like Eva Marie. I don't like anything about Eva Marie. And as much as they try and push her on me, I do not like it at all. It's almost like, another one thing I don't like is the fact that she's looking very Flair-ish.
Or with the jacket and everything.
With the jacket and everything. God, I say that like it's only a recent thing. She's been doing it for a while. But now that Charlotte's starting to do it, it's actually making Charlotte look like an Eva Marie knockoff.
Oh, God.
It's like you do not deserve such jackets. You do not deserve such and it's just fucking the crowd as well. And Eva Marie has the similar thing to Roman Reigns right now, where WWE are blind or deaf, both.
Okay.
Like, Eva Marie, she's so great, and it's like, we love her. Eva Marie's the best, and that's all you're hearing from Corey Graves. That's all you're hearing from Corey Graves. But then you're listening to the crowd, and there's a whole lot of you fucked up, like Eva sucks, and all of the sort like that.
But here's the thing, though, Matt. She is booked as a heel. Corey Graves is a heel announcer, right? So
I know, but he annoys me because he's talking about someone pathetic.
But here's the thing, Matt. Here's the ultimate thing. So I'll put it to explain, because
I know he's doing his job. I understand the psychology of wrestling. Yeah. I still don't like it.
Here's the thing, though, Matt. Did you enjoy this match with Eva being the heel, with Asuka beating the hell out of her, or would you rather have not watched it?
I didn't enjoy this match at all.
Well, there you go. That's the heel's job is to be a heel that people really enjoy getting beaten up. I think that's the problem with this match. Asuka just didn't kick the shit out of her enough. That was my opinion.
I nothinged this match.
So I think that's the point there. Asuka's still great. Love Asuka.
Asuka's still great. Asuka can go on forever. Like, I would love to watch Asuka fight forever, sort of thing.
She could be a good heel down the line, Asuka.
Agreed. Eva Marie, however, no.
I tell you what, I'll give her a little bit of reprieve. She was booked against the wrong person, and it was whoever made this match and came up with, okay, we're going to make it 50-50 offense.
Yeah,
I think that was a problem there.
No. And the fact that they even brought in Nia Jax as well, and just nobody gave a shit. They were teasing that it could possibly be Nia Jax and Asuka. Tease, and everyone's like, I could not give two fucks.
I think that crowd had burnt out by that point as well, though.
Yeah.
So there is that. All right, so some of the other matches here we won't talk about as much, but the Revival had their first match since losing the NXT Tag Team Championship
against some nobodies, and then I saw who they were against, and then that's all I've watched of NXT.
Yeah, here's the thing, though, right? I think they got upstaged by the local jobbers.
Really?
Yeah, there was a point here where they had one of the guys on the opposite team had the crowd chanting defense for him, right? Yeah, of course they were booked to get trounced by the Revival, and that's exactly what they did. But they left a little bit of a lasting impact. This is just a local random team, right? That I'm sure WWE does have no fucks about, right? They just okay, let's just put these guys out there so they get beaten. They kind of stole the show a little bit from the Revival, and I was a little bit like, interesting. So who knows? We might see them popping up every now and then. They deserve it. So they did well. The other one as well, Matt, I don't know if you caught this. Aaliyah made her TV debut.
Nope.
She wrestled against Carmella. My thoughts on her, if this is the closest thing to a report card here on this. Aaliyah. Her gimmick fucking sucks. And I'm not being racist. I'll be like, oh, you don't like Indian belly dancers. Literally, the only gimmick is that she's an Indian belly dancer. Could you not have created a decent personality for her? And when she comes out and does that thing, with it comes out and does that entrance, what's funny is that they did I thought was really funny about this, Matt. Remember back when they did Breaking Ground, which Aaliyah was one of the main people in?
Yeah.
Right? And she did that entrance, do you remember? And William Regal was like,
I don't like it.
That was awful.
Yeah.
She did exactly the same thing. If they thought it was awful, they have not changed it whatsoever. So,
She ignored William Regal. What a fool.
I will say, though, to her credit, the gimmick sucks. I think it's wafer thin. I think it's just as wafer thin as Billie Kay and Peyton Royce's.
Yeah.
Her in-ring abilities, let's put it into perspective, right? So there's a lot of women out there at the moment that are on there, and in terms of in-ring abilities, I'm like, they still need a little bit of work to go, and they've been on there for a while. Aaliyah still needs work, but she's a little bit further ahead of what you would expect from a debuting woman to come onto the show with. So fair enough. She impressed in the ring. Nails around her, I just don't think is going to work. So, and it's not me being like, oh, you don't want a belly dancer in WWE. No, if you're going to have a belly dancer in WWE, that's fine. You need to show us a little bit more than her running out and doing the dance. I know it's just her first match, so maybe I should give her time. I just honestly, I look at this, I'm like, it's wafer thin. It's like No Way Jose. All he is what you see. There's nothing else to the guy. One of the cool things about a character like Bray Wyatt is that you look at the guy and you can't go, okay, that's exactly who he is.
Yeah.
Right? Bray Wyatt is this wild guy with aspirations here and there that talks all these different things. Right? Enzo and Cass, you can't point to them and go, they're fucking New Yorkers. No, there's so much. They are, but I mean, there's so much more than that, right? There's speaking and, I don't know. That's how I looked at it anyway.
How do you mention it? Because it was against Carmella. Do you not think Carmella's sort of fallen a bit foul to the fact that Enzo and Cass got called up?
I think she's petered out quite a bit, personally. I think, Matt, that she had a good match against Bayley, which wasn't fantastic.
It was solid.
It was good. And I think that there's a problem with Carmella where I think that it's very likely she has hit the peak of what she can do. I don't think she can get much better than she currently is, which is a bit of a shame when you look at it in the sense of, but she needs to get better to break into that very competitive women's division now on the main roster especially. Even on NXT, right? So it's a little bit of a shame there, but still.
I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe if they just bring her up to be like Enzo and Cass's Lana.
Yeah, she could do that, right? She doesn't have to be a fantastic in-ring competitor to be useful and to be a character on the show. Yeah. But at the moment, NXT, she doesn't have Enzo and Cass. So, it's focusing a lot more on her in-ring work. And the in-ring work has kind of been the same for about the last year. So, that's what it is there. All right, so that's our NXT, I'm not even going to call it a report card, NXT review, essentially. So there's our thoughts on that. Matt, it is time for your super sexy, amazingly difficult, but intense, awesome challenge.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. In the future, I may even think of getting some backing track to go with this.
Like, who wants to be a millionaire then for a second?
I'll find some music that won't get me copyrighted to all fuck. So
okay, that's fine.
Because I'm sure I would be if I did that. I was thinking of using like even the countdown, but I thought that was a little bit too cheesy, and obviously copyright. So
yeah,
I'll find something. I'll find something on like the free music lists. I'll trawl through all that stuff for weeks. Still, okay, Matt. The topic for this week's trivia is wrestling theme lyrics again. We haven't redone a lot of the categories yet.
Hang on, so is this the lyrics of entrance musics?
Yes. Like we did the very first time we did this, right?
Yes.
Yep. And because it's one of those things where I'm going to try and come up with new topics every so often, but guys, it's kind of hard, right? I'm eventually going to have to go back. And wrestling theme lyrics is one of the ones that you're probably going to see every so often. So there we are. So Matt, 5 sets of lyrics this week. I'm not so sure how some of them I think are easy, but it's one of those things with entrance music. So I think it's kind of hard to say that something's easy because like some of them you don't listen to, you like the tune. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of my opinion of Gallows and Anderson's.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. Their entrance theme isn't on this list. So
okay. Just quickly, does it not sound a bit like Fozzy?
A little bit, yeah. Actually, funny enough, it does. I think it's fine, though. It's all right.
I don't know.
Okay. Are you ready then, Matt?
I am ready.
Yourself? Do you have your asshole clenched for battle? awkward thing to ask, but
No.
it's out there now. No?
I'm sure I will manage.
I'm sure you'll manage. Okay, then. Number 1. Here we go. We some Southern boys with the farmer strength. Ain't nobody man enough to feel the pain. You could be next. You better give respect, because nobody breaking this redneck.
The Revival.
Is that your guess? Is that your final answer?
I genuinely think it's the Revival.
Answer. Okay, is that your final? Would you rather me go through it one more time?
Yeah.
One more time. Okay. We some Southern boys with the farmer strength. Ain't nobody man enough to feel the pain. You could be next. Better give respect, because nobody breaking this redneck. This is one of the ones that the theme, me speaking it out, is going to fuck people up, I think, on some of this.
No, I don't think it is the Revival.
What is your guess? What is your final guess? I will give you 10 seconds for your final answer.
Sod it, I'll stick to it, but I know it's not them.
Okay, it is incorrect. It is AJ Styles. I'll give you a little bit of a hint at the start of the show there, Matt.
Yeah.
So,
the thing is, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's AJ Styles, but then I'm pretty sure we had that last time, so I went away from it.
I don't think we did, but even then, it's still different lyrics. Still counts. So, there we are. Number 2. Are you ready?
Okay.
Here comes the new kid on the block. Hold all your bets here where the buck stops. See, first of all, I am stepping out on my own. About time I elevated to claim my own throne. This one's a bit tough.
The thing is, though, judging by the lyrics, why do I just want to suddenly go, here comes the money?
Is that your guess? Is that your answer?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Shane McMahon.
Ding, 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 ding. He is right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Shane O'Mac. Well done, Matt. Well done. Good job. Number 3.
Would have been easier if you just went dollar, dollar, but, it's too easy.
I'm purposely leaving out lyrics to make it just a little bit too easy. Number 3. Well, you'd better get used to the way the ball bounces. I see what you got. It measures in ounces. That's the price, boy. Yeah, that's the price, little man.
D-Generation X.
Oh, he's got it! Oh.
This is when you, little man, I was like, break it down, dude.
Oh, man. Maybe. Wow, I'm actually very surprised you got that. You're like, bang. Nicely done. Nicely done. So 2 out of 3 so far. Number 4. I feel strong about right and wrong. And I take trouble. I don't take trouble for very long. I got something deep inside of me. Courage is the thing that keeps us free. Oh, he's a little bit stuck on this one. Ladies and gentlemen. Would you like it one more time?
Yeah, go on.
I feel strong about right and wrong. And I don't take trouble for very long. I got something deep inside of me. Courage is the thing that keeps us free.
I don't know.
I will give you a slight hint. This is probably one of the most well-known entrance themes of all time.
Eh?
Give us a random guess. I've got to take an answer from you.
I was going to say, surely one of the most well-known entrance music is Real American, but that is not one of the lyrics out of it. I'm going to go with Heartbreak Kid.
That is incorrect.
Yeah.
Matt, it is Real American.
It is Real American.
It is. I feel strong about right and wrong.
I just know the opening chorus, okay?
I was like, you've got it. You've got it. I was like, oh, I couldn't tell you, Matt. You were right there. I knew that you knew it was that, but such a shame. Such a shame. Last one, so you can get So you can make it so you're above 50% for this week. Okay, Matt?
Okay.
Number 5. We are the bold, united souls. We live to win another victory. Our sacred scars show who we are and tell the story of our memories. Ooh. I think this one's actually a little bit easy.
And you know the worst part is, I'm like, I know it. Once again,
here we go. We are the bold, united souls. We live to win another victory. Our sacred scars show who we are and tell the story of our memories. He wants this so bad. He wants it so bad.
Oh.
I guess it doesn't help for me to say that I think this is the easiest out of the 5.
Nexus.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
I'm afraid, Matt, that you are correct.
Yes.
Well done. It is the Nexus. Well done. And I know you like the band that does that song, so I was expecting you to get this one. So,
who is the band?
I think it's 12 Stones, isn't it? That did it. The ones that did.
Yes.
So yeah, some good stuff there. All right then.
Say, in which case I would have to burn my hoodie if I didn't get that one.
Yeah. Well, do you actually have a 12 Stones hoodie?
No, I've got a Nexus hoodie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we forgot about it. You do actually have a Nexus hoodie, so. But you got there, Matt. You got there in the end. You got 3 out of 5 correct. That's a good showing this week. I'm sure that some of our fans probably got the whole lot.
And I threw away Real American to idiocy.
You did. I'm very shocked about that one, Matt. I am. I just wanted to give it to you, but I have to get stricter, right, as these things go on. So, all right then, Matt. So, it is time for the Raw review, and I didn't want to speak like William Shatner there. I don't know why I just suddenly started doing that. But regardless, Raw review. It's the go-home show for WWE Payback. I think overall, Matt, we've seen some decent Raws over the last couple of weeks. Last week, not so great, but the couple of weeks before then, pretty good, Matt.
Yeah.
It hasn't been the usual WrestleMania hangover that we've come to expect, but it could still go that way. All we need is one bad pay-per-view, and that's where maybe Payback comes in. So we'll soon see. And this emanates from Hartford, Connecticut. What I think of when I say Connecticut is just a very...
Kniff.
Yeah, which is a very... yeah, let's not go there. Shane McMahon kicks off the show. The Undertaker must be thinking, why the hell did he even show up to WrestleMania?
Yeah.
It wasn't as if the result of the match really meant that much, but there we are. Commentary tell us that he's in control again for tonight. So that means for the entire month after WrestleMania, he had been in charge of every single show. There you go.
That's it. The Taker match was for nothing.
It was for naught, shall we say. He tells us that we're going to see some new faces and new matches. And then Stephanie McMahon dances down to the ring. She says that the crowd is her people, as they're from Hartford. She's from Hartford. So basically, they're mega homies, Matt. They're totally tight. Yeah. She tells Shane that tonight is Shane's last night running Raw. As I'm sure that's definitely going to be the case, considering he doesn't have to win matches to run Raw. You know, that's the way it is. Apparently, Vince is going to make some sort of announcement on Payback about who's going to be running the show going forward. So they seem to be teasing this fact that Shane might actually be in control of the maybe in control of Raw. You know, even despite him losing the match. We talked last week, Matt, about how devastating this is towards stipulations and if they want to sell anything in the future. So we'll see how it goes. It's
not like this is the sole reason that stipulations sit a bit weak.
No, it's just like another nail in the coffin sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right? So it's, you know what, Matt? It's a little bit like, okay, this segment, technically with what we've heard, isn't it like already decided? Because how would Shane think he has a single iota of a chance when Vince told him prior to WrestleMania I have no son. You're just a son of a bitch. I'll father your kids for you.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope you die in a cell. So, yeah.
Father of the year here, guys.
Why Shane thinks he has any sort of chance that Vince will suddenly decide, you know what? You have been doing a good job. You're my son again. Give me a hug. It's a little bit weird. Maybe they might have like the board come out and count and go over Vince McMahon's head as they usually do with these sort of things, but I don't know. So Shane brings down the biggest, baddest security guys that the local indie wrestling federation could muster and escorts Stephanie out of the ring. Stephanie gets so pissed that one of them touches her that she just slaps them. So, like I said with her, like if it's her employees, doesn't matter. She can slap them on live television. And people want to say this is emulating real life. This is the reality era, ladies and gentlemen. So there we go. Fans are still hella into Shane. He knows how to work a crowd. There's at a point he was like holding his hand over like Steph, getting the response from her, then going back to him, getting the cheers, working the crowd. I haven't seen someone work the crowd like that since Rock's been around a little bit, So
that's it, yeah.
That's been good. You know what? This segment was basically here just to plug the segment that's going to happen at Payback, which kind of makes no sense. So was it meaningless? I mean, I was entertained, so there's that, but it's a little bit meaningless. It kind of makes no sense. So,
no.
On that front.
It did the job.
It did the job. So, AJ Styles versus Sheamus was the opening match of the night. Sheamus distinctly not coming up with the League of Nations gear or the personnel. We've been hearing that WWE are trying to do their best now to phase the team out. Good. We saw, the beginning of that, Matt, with not only just Sheamus, but a lot of the other guys. They were coming out on their own, not really, even with their own music now, because now they're not even doing the League of Nations music. So it's all changing. Yeah, it's all. They're trying to get these guys. It's one of those things there, Matt. I'm a little bit like, maybe they're doing this because they have injuries. They need to fill the slots. But to me, I'm just glad that the group's over with. It won't be remembered. It won't be remembered at all. So
no.
Now, Matt, I have to give major props to Sheamus this week. Big time props to this guy because it takes a special once-in-a-lifetime staleness that can make me tune out during an AJ Styles match. So we have to give him praise. Guys,
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Give him a round of applause, everyone. That is exemplary work by Sheamus. I didn't think it could be done. It did it, though, Matt. What about you? Did you tune out of this match? I
was quite bored of it.
Yeah, it was. I'd tell you what, it just didn't really do the trick. And you know what? You have to listen, whether or not we like it or not, it's still a fantastically impressive feat that he did to make us not even care about AJ Styles in this match. So good on him. Good on him. Not on us.
I forgot this was the opening match.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you take notes.
It is, isn't it? All jokes aside, I'm going to take a little bit of time this week to talk about what's wrong with Sheamus. He is a great pro wrestler. He really is, guys, and people are going to be like, what are you talking about? In terms of in-ring, he is good. I've seen him have some really great matches during his career.
Yeah.
And matches that people were very much involved in. He wasn't always associated with the staleness that he is now, which seems to be over the last 2-3 years of his career, right? It always feels with Sheamus that there's something wrong with his psychology, that the fact that the physicality and the big moves he uses just don't connect with the crowd anymore. In an era where those sort of moves have never been more attractive to the current fan base. Big kicks, right? Hard slams. That's what the fans are kind of into nowadays. It always feels with Sheamus. I think this is the problem with him, Matt. I wonder if you agree. It always feels with Sheamus that he's wrestling in third gear. He never goes below and he never goes above. He's just static, right? He's going at the same pace all the time, not even going less than that, right? So when he does the big moments of the match, he's kind of going at the same pace he already has gone through. So it's hard to get pop for a big thing because it feels like the match is just going on the same tangent the entire the way through.
At no point has he ever does he sort of seem to step it up a notch?
Yeah, or does he get knocked down and back into first gear and then have to go back up again to get the big return pop or anything like this? I know that's not his job because he's a heel, but it's one of those things here where I'm like, that's the problem with him. He's always going at a steady pace. There's not that much exciting about something that goes at a steady pace constantly. It becomes a bit boring, becomes stale, which is currently the problem that he's in. That's more in terms of his in-ring stuff. In terms of character and everything, I don't even think I can have I don't have time to go into all the reasons why people have tuned out of Sheamus, but that is just the way things are. The way the cookie crumbles, Matt. The way the cookie crumbles. So Styles wins with the phenomenal forearm. It was an okay match, as I said. I tuned out. Not that exciting.
Quite early on, yeah.
Gallows and Anderson show up after the match to offer their congratulations to their Bullet Club brother. Remember the same one that they also beat the piss out of earlier on in the year when he left for WWE. So,
shh, that didn't happen in WWE.
And you know what? They spent more time as friends than beating the shit out of each other. So I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's all everything's been forgiven. It's all good. It's all good. So the Usos are talking to Roman Reigns backstage, who is getting fucking roasted by the crowd, Matt. As we said earlier on, it's got to a point now the Usos are starting to get booed for hanging just too close to the guy. Right?
That's it. Just to be in the same sort of shot as him. It's like, sorry, guys.
Yeah. I'm sure that if Vince phoned up The Rock again and said, look, do you want to come over and help Roman get over? We could really do your help. I'm sure the Rock would tell him to fuck off because he needs to protect his own brand.
That's it. It's like, this Baywatch thing you're doing, like, we'll push that shit. Like, we'll get that over. We'll sort of, like, we'll screen it for half the nights. Fuck it. It's like, nah.
Yeah, no. I don't want to go close to the guy because I don't want the negative response to be overflowing onto me. Yeah. That's how toxic he's getting.
To help my cousin.
Yeah, right? It's... You know what? It's one of those things where, like, we've talked all about it before. We'll be repeating ourselves. Usos tell him that they have his back. They say the word "oos" every about 20 times in a minute here. Don't know what "oos" means, but okay. Reigns tells them that it's fine. The boos will eventually form a collective shield around him, granting him mega heel superpowers. All he has to do is turn heel and feel the power. He'd be like He-Man, but with heel powers. That's how powerful he could be if he turned heel, ladies and gentlemen. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? How good it would be? Oh well. Talking of feeling the power, New Day are out, and they say whoever wins the match at Payback will party like it's 1999. Yeah, because it's a Prince reference, so.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's all I'll sing of that because, to be honest, I'm a horrendous singer and I don't feel it does the man justice to be singing those songs with my horrendous singing voice. My voice was always meant for podcasting. It was made for a specific purpose. Not singing. What about you, Matt? Are you a good singer? Better than me. My children beg for me to stop singing in this house. It's kind of depressing. Vaudevillains come out. Aiden English sings the WWE Tag Team Championships better than Xavier Woods, dare I say. I actually thought he did it quite well. So there we are.
No.
I know it's kind of sacrilege a little bit there. Maybe I kind of feel a bit dirty saying it, but it was true. That's just how I feel, Matt. That's how I feel. He says that they're going to party when they win the championships like it's 1889. I thought that was a pretty good line. I was like, yeah, I like that. Nice little line. Enzo and Cass come out and single-handedly wakes up the crowd that had gone silent since the Vaudevillains came out. It's like they came alive.
You know what? It genuinely was that moment, like when the Vaudevillains came out, and I'm like, oh no, they really are dead.
Oh God. Yeah. Or at least Simon Gotch wasn't foaming at the mouth this week. He still looks a little bit rabid.
Nearly.
Yeah. He looked like he's been taking medication to fix the issue, but it hasn't quite kicked in yet. So
yeah,
there we go. Maybe I have to get Simon Gotch put down if this gets any worse. So
he's rabid.
So here's the thing, right? The Enzo and Cass are so over that they've got Roman Reigns in the back thinking if he should dye his hair leopard print and start asking everyone how they're doing. Like, they're so over. Roman Reigns could, in his wildest fantasies, the mental images he could concoct in his brain about him being finally accepted and everyone loving him still would not match the amount of fan love that Enzo and Cass have. It just doesn't match, right? Although seeing Roman Reigns with leopard print hair and doing how you doing, I don't quite know how to process that, but still. Enzo says that the Vaudevillains want to be the number one contenders, but he wants to run down the beach into his own arms, but that ain't going to happen. And I'm like, that's weird, but funny as fuck. So, fair play. It's kind of Enzo all the way, right? You never know what's going to come out of his mouth, but 9 times out of 10, it's entertaining. New Day end up just dancing while they egg on the NXT teams to go on and fight each other, which they don't. But I still thought this segment was fun. So, what about you, Matt?
Yeah, Enzo and Cass, I'm good with it.
Enzo and Cass, like, I'm sure Vince is looking at these guys and being like, oh, so this is what having an over tag team looks like. It was quite fun.
Yeah.
Well, and they had the New Day for a while, but, you know, the New Day are still doing good. But at least now they've got another group, you know, fan responses, people.
Very much over.
I do think, actually, that general crowd are going to start getting behind Enzo and Cass very quickly. I mean, they clearly are already. So, brilliant. Good stuff for them. Usos versus Anderson and Gallows. Lots to talk about here, because I now will answer the question that will inevitably come. Why doesn't WWE have a problem name-dropping New Japan Pro Wrestling when they have a very big problem name-dropping TNA? I think, Matt, I think you know the reason behind this. They know fully well that the Japanese crowd isn't a crowd they're attempting to compete for.
No, exactly that.
Right? Sure, they get some Japanese watchers, it's fine, but they're never going to be able to march into Japan and take away New Japan's viewership. It just ain't going to happen, right? So they don't have any problem with doing that. And of course, they've got more of a benefit by referencing them than they don't. Than they do from. Oh God, I've got tongue twisted, Matt.
I get what you're trying to say. Don't worry.
I have enough rope. I just throw myself down a well, and you pull me back up. That's the way to do it.
If you haven't hung yourself with it first,
exactly. Which, you know, knowing me,
could happen.
Right? Verbally, guys, before people take that way too literally. So the good thing about Anderson and Gallows, we're going to be praising these guys quite a bit. Well, I am. I don't know about you, Matt, but they've got that Japan factor where it genuinely feels like wrestling them would be at the very least uncomfortable. Yeah. Normally, very painful, right? Hard hits, throwing, like, they don't just put a chin lock in and just stay there. They throw the guy around when they've got the guy in the chin lock. It looks like it hurts. They're never static, right? It's like Sheamus earlier on. They're not just resting in a rest hold. They're hitting a submission hold and they're fucking throwing the guy everywhere. They're pounding, throwing hits in. It's like they never stop, right? And one guy I was mightily impressed with this, and I'm sure that people who haven't seen him for a long time would be impressed as well, is Luke Gallows. Yeah. Considering, Matt, what was the last time they would have seen Luke Gallows? Probably in Straight Edge Society, right? That's probably the last time they saw him.
Yeah, must be.
And
it would have been.
And he was okay. Nothing exemplary. He was a serviceable wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's got to a point now where he's clearly far more confident. He's leaner and quicker. He's one of those guys, Matt, that back in the day, 10 years ago, he would have bulked up to 350 pounds because that's what you needed to get noticed.
Yeah.
Nowadays, he leans down to a clean 290. But he's still big and athletic. Then he can wrestle for a good 20 minutes without blowing out, right?
Yeah. And he's very athletic.
Yeah. I mean, he's popping up from elbow drops like he's fucking Dolph Ziggler. This is a 290-pound man, right? Even like, you look at back in the days when he was Festus, for Christ's sake, how you'd think to yourself back then, this guy's never going to make me think that this guy is genuinely dangerous. Here, he comes off like a fucking badass. He got better even from his TNA days. It's like
his
Japan
gear.
changed him. So, yeah, his gear's pretty good, yeah. But hugely impressed. And like I said, one of the things I'll say, I mean, Carl Anderson did a great job, but I just think that some of these guys are going to look at him and be like, oh, well, Luke Gallows, what do I remember that name from? They're going to punch it into fucking Wiki, going to come up and be like, no, can't be him.
That guy?
The level of improvement here for a guy who's not young. I've got a lot of respect for that personally, but lengthy debut match here. This is probably the longest match of the night, dare I say? Probably. If not one of them. It's Jey Uso ends up getting a savage beating throughout the majority. They did do the hot tag, but in the end, obviously, Gallows and Anderson managed to, weather the storm and then turn it around and end up winning the match. I thought it was a very good match, Matt. I thought it was a great match to get everyone associated with this new team, which is on the roster. I think they made a very good account of themselves. So.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things where so far, since they've come in, WWE have done these guys right. They're involved in a main championship storyline, right? Which they are, because they're involved in the AJ Styles versus Reigns storyline, right? Yep. They're beating a very reputable team in the Usos, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're making them seem like they're the difference maker, that they're the X factor, that things were quite cut and dry before they came around. And everyone's wondering what Gallows and Anderson are going to do at the main event, which is good, because that means you're wondering about Gallows and Anderson, right? So that means the spotlight's on them.
Yeah.
So far, so good, Matt. What do you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it was a very good match. And like you said, they do come across very physical.
Yeah.
And it is.
It's just that Japan style, isn't it, that they've adopted. And fair play for it, because it's good. It's kind of what wrestling fans are kind of getting more interested in nowadays. So after the match, you've got Gallows and Anderson. They just decide to beat down the Usos after they've won. Reigns comes to the rescue, but he's booed so badly for basically clearing both men out of the ring. God, it shocks me every time I talk about him, how just hated he is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Michael Cole congratulates the WWE Network for receiving an award. So basically, WWE congratulates themselves for receiving an award.
Yep.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't they?
Fantastic. AJ Styles.
The one thing I hate is, like, we've mentioned this. I think, pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but I hate when they're like, "Yeah, we won this award." Like, like we've got more fans than X and Y sort of thing. It's like, you're an international company, so that's why. Don't forget that.
It just comes off as like a bit of a dickish thing. I would like to congratulate WWE, and it's like,
I'd like to congratulate me. Well
You're
done,
the voice of WWE. Yeah. It's basically like them patting themselves. It's basically them jerking themselves off and being like, look at this. We're fantastic. I did good. So, there you go. AJ Styles is speaking to Renee Young before Anderson and Gallows Sharp. They tell him that they know Styles can win the championship on his own. They just want to make sure it's a fair fight, Matt, as they know the Usos will try and keep the belt on Reigns. Then they hug. There's quite collective manliness in that hug. Maybe too much to be contained, but still. Then they show a awesome video package about Sami Zayn's relationship with Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
They go through how they're the best of friends. They traveled, fought. Even Zayn went to Owens' wedding, right? They really make it seem that they were brothers in arms, dare I say, and then they make it come across that how damaging it was when Owens did what he did back in NXT, and then obviously this new chapter of their saga, right? And you even got Owens saying, Sami Zayn, you've got literally saying to the camera, like, look, he was my brother. Like, how could he do this to his own family? And it's like, oh, geez, like this is good stuff. And you got even when Kevin Owens going, like, I don't understand. I'm the victim here. And I'm like, this is fucking brilliant. This is amazing stuff.
Yeah.
This rivalry will work forever. Awesome video package. Congratulations all around. See, when we congratulate WWE, it means something. It's not them jerking themselves off.
That's it.
So, Sami Zayn versus Rusev. I thought this was a bit of a dead match, Matt. I
think that generally comes from the fact that he was wrestling Rusev.
Yeah, the crowd weren't so into it. The pace of the match was a bit monotonous. Sami ends up winning the match, and Lana throws her shoes at him, and then Sami flips her off, which I thought was quite funny. I don't know how much trouble he getting with that, but he legitimately gave her the bird. So, which is what I'd do with some crazy woman.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. However, Owens takes out Sami on the ramp and then looks at him for about 20 awkward seconds. So still not awkward enough to overdo the fact that really good video package. And the fact that this rivalry just clearly works. So
yeah,
it will work forever. Renee Young speaks to Apollo Crews backstage. He's quickly interrupted by Stardust. Apollo Crews, he smiles here and he talks about Dusty Rhodes. And he's saying all these lovely things, but he's smiling at Stardust.
Yeah.
Matt, am I the only person that thought this came across a little bit disingenuous? I'm sure it didn't mean to come off that way. What about you?
I wouldn't say disingenuous, probably just goofy.
That's why I think it came off disingenuous. I'm sure he did. Like I said, I don't think it was made to be that way, right? Yeah. But it's just Apollo Crews. He comes off that way to me. That he comes across like, oh, he's... I tell you what the problem is with Apollo Crews, Matt. He's got no edge.
Yeah.
He reminds me of a baby gate. He wouldn't do harm to a fly. I don't think Apollo Crews is ever going to be able to sell a blood feud or anything like that. So
I think it's like he's the safe bet.
Yeah. Right? So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't think... I mean, even when it was... like him and Corbin having the rivalry, and I'm like, well, I know who's pushing this one.
Yeah. I tell you what he needs, Matt. I tell you what Apollo Crews needs. He needs someone to legitimize him, like Mick Foley did to Triple H. Right? Yeah. He needs someone to legitimize him, much in the way that some of these wrestlers that they get put in, like he needs someone to put him in a situation that you can't really smile about, right? Because at the moment there's nothing worrying about the guy. He's so cookie cutter, and he's so Matt. I'd be very happy to let him look after my children.
Yeah,
right? And that's all well and good, but there comes a point where it's like, but I don't want to watch my babysitter wrestle, right? It's a little bit like that, right? It's like, you're so goody two-shoes, I kind of don't fucking like you, right? It's almost getting to that point. And that was where Apollo Crews was going to in NXT, but then they brought him up without addressing it, and now he's got the same problem. So.
Yeah. I think he needs a half-decent rivalry to get the sort of like the wheels turning.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's in that position. Like he needs something, otherwise it's just going to like not work. Whereas currently, before it gets to that point, because it's getting awfully close, where it's like, I don't buy it.
He's the wrong push and the wrong set of matches away from being another Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So, and it's not that far away. I think people are already a little bit like, this guy. Kind of don't like him. He's kind of annoying.
The thing I find really bizarre with him.
Go on.
And it was actually quite a few of the guys in the recent call-up.
Go on.
So JBL's the heel commentator now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah.
Why does he keep trying to cruise his dick?
They do a bit.
He's constantly just like, oh, I love this guy. He's so great. It's like, he's a face.
Yeah, with anyone they've got plans with, JBL suddenly stops being a heel commentator. And he just, as you say, Matt, he literally fucking drops his drawers and starts like, oh, okay, that's
it. Would you like me to cup the balls whilst I do it, sir?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that doesn't help him either, right? For the general perception of the guy, because, like I said, then there's just no edge to him, right? So
that's it, because now all of a sudden I'm like if I was, a casual fan, I'd be like, oh, this one guy's been ragging on him all the time, and now nobody's ragging on anyone. I'm like,
Yeah. I tell you what, like, I'm sure that they think they're booking this guy well, and so far they're not getting the reactions that I know is coming, but they're coming, right? And if they keep on going with
the negative ones.
Yeah. And tell you what, Apollo Crews is one of those guys, like Roman Reigns, I think could make a fantastic heel. That's why I want him to. Apollo Crews, I don't think he's going to make a good heel. I think he's going to suck. So he needs to be face. And so that way that's why he needs to stay in NXT. He needed to figure out a little bit more ring psychology. I don't think he understands the problem he's in. And that's the issue there. So.
He needs a better grasp on himself, sort of thing.
Yeah. Stardust versus Apollo Crews. I tuned out. Crews wins. All the above problems remain. Really.
Do you know the one thing I found I got really confused by?
Go on.
What happened to Stardust's gloves halfway through the match?
I don't know. I tuned out.
I tuned out until I realised, like, he's not wearing gloves anymore. Anyway, back to anything.
Back to anything. Ambrose is out. He's pissed off, Matt, over being laid out last week by Chris Jericho. And says while Jericho is the best in the world at what he does, Ambrose is good at what he does too. He can lose to Lesnar like nobody else.
They just do not mention this at all.
He tells us all he's all about broken teeth and black eyes, and he wants to ply his trade on Chris Jericho. Jericho comes out, says he won't waste his time fighting in a dump like Hartford. Heel Jericho is best Jericho. I think we're talking about that, man, about JBL sucking people's cock. We've been sucking Chris Jericho's dick for pretty much the majority of this last 2 months. So.
I've been sucking Jericho's dick since 2007.
Okay. So. And you like that tasty Jericho. He tells Ambrose to fall to his knee. Oh, wow, that's a bit of an awkward thing to put.
Yeah. my $750 boot each.
Yeah.
Each.
That's right. It reminded me of with people falling to their knees and trying to kiss his boots. Matt, do you remember us being at a certain club called the Agincourt where Fozzy were in attendance? And
I do.
And tons of fans being more than happy to touch his boots for him. But,
that's true.
But still. And in fact, one of our friends that we don't really see nowadays actually got up and did he do like MC Hammer or some shit like that?
I think it was Hammer time, yeah.
So long ago now, so long ago. And people are like, you went to a Fozzy concert? Yeah, fucking years ago now. Probably like 10 years ago. Jeez, must be.
Probably. Since then, I've seen them at Download a couple of times.
Well, there you are. So they end up brawling here. Jericho locks Ambrose on the table with the walls of Jericho because by page logic, it hurts a lot more on the table. There's actually quite a funny back and forth on Twitter between them actually about that.
Yeah.
Decent segments-ish. It was okay. To sell this feud, it's a meaningless feud that has no consequence and a match that I'm not particularly bothered about, and that's its problem. The actual segment, I think, was fine, but it's a little bit like there's nothing on the line here. This is thrown together, and it reeks of being thrown together. So
yeah.
Emma versus Natalia. A very quick match, so quick that I can't really give it a review.
I completely forgot about this match.
It is a nothing match, isn't it, really? I think.
Well, I was like, evil Emma.
She's back, but not in the way that she is. So
she's back. She's going to waste.
Yeah. Sharpshooter, Natalia wins. She goes to fight Charlotte, but Rick is in the way, so she just walks off.
And they're like, oh, okay.
Maybe it's one of those things where she's scared that Ric Flair would have told her to kill herself. So
that's quite true.
Quite
true.
I
mean, that's a perfectly valid, worry.
Concern. Yeah. Here we go. So they air a video package for Chyna. I didn't think they would, but they did. So they did a thing at the start of the show as well. It's not one of the amazing, awesome video packages like Dusty or Piper got, but I genuinely didn't think they would do a full-on video
anyway. So
yeah, I tell you what, Matt, it was especially hard to watch the scenes with her and Eddie in it. They'll be like, I'm forced to remember that I'm getting older and all these things, these people passing, it's going to happen. I still think that they should be lasting over 50 years old, but what can you do? This is wrestling, unfortunately. Some people apparently were annoyed that this was aired in the middle of the show, not at the beginning of the show.
Wow.
Why that makes a difference, I have absolutely no clue. But still. If you've got something to be annoyed about when it comes to Chyna, then the hill you need to die on is she should have been inducted by now. That's the hill that has some sense.
Yeah.
It should have been aired at the start of the show. So that's just my opinion on it anyway. So Baron Corbin comes out for a match. He is attacked by Dolph Ziggler. There is nothing else to say.
Poor Sandow.
Poor Sandow.
Sad Sandow is sad.
Sad Sandow. Oh, whoever thought of a sad Sandow? Matt's favourite duo, Miz and Maurice, are out.
I didn't watch this segment.
It's, you know what, Matt? It's schoolyard rules. I'm on to you.
I skipped a little. Well, I skipped a bit, and then I got to the "Do you feel lucky, punk?" And then I was like, "No, I'm glad I skipped this whole segment."
Matt, I'm on to you though. I figured you out. Okay, so this is schoolyard rules. You're firing shots at Miz and Maurice because secretly you fancy them. That's how it all works. You love these guys.
Okay.
No, fuck that. I can't.
I mean, if you want to go schoolyard rules and believe that to be a thing, then by all means.
Then
as Jericho would put it, you're a stupid man.
Yeah, okay. I deserve that. there. Yeah. Miz is appalled that Cesaro will win it, that fans will think, well, fuck it. Fuck this segment. I'm not going to talk about it. AJ, that's pretty much how I thought. I thought this fucking sucked. Cesaro didn't even do that well here, to be honest, but there we are. AJ runs into Reigns backstage and tells him that he's taking his title. Reigns says he must have bought ringside tickets for Gallows and Anderson. Then they stare at each other like they might want to make love. I'm not sure.
Was this when...
just before the last match?
Well, yeah. Okay, so this is when Styles went full on Ash Ketchum.
Yes. Yeah, 100% Ash Ketchum. Yeah. But what's a little bit weird with this, Matt, though, is that they were staring at each other. It looked like maybe they're having a moment, and I felt like the camera should have shut up and let them have their moment.
To have a warm embrace and a kiss.
Yeah, listen, AJ Styles has a following in the gay community, as famously coined in that interview.
God, yeah.
Less said about that, the better, I think. In the main event, Roman Reigns versus Del Rio. They air footage of Reigns doing a Make-A-Wish and show him speaking to the lad at ringside. I hope the best for him.
But he definitely looked like he actually wished for John Cena originally.
I'm sure he had a great time, and that's great.
Oh yeah, he probably did, and like more power to him and all that lot.
Yeah,
but
here's the thing, right? And fantastic, and that kid, I hope he had a fantastic day. Fantastic, awesome, and they should do more stuff like this. It's a win-win situation. But guys, don't be naive and think that WWE didn't place the footage and the camera there for a reason. It could have very easily have gone to him after the match when all the cameras are off.
Yeah.
They're doing everything they can to get Reigns the response that they want.
Please, he's not a bad guy.
Yeah. And if you're thinking
he's not a good guy either, so surely he should have slapped the kid upside the head, but there we go.
But it's one of those things, Matt, like I'm sure people are going to say to us, Tony, Matt, you're stretching with this. Like you're just being paranoid. I will run a line to you that basically validates everything I'm saying about why they do this. Philanthropy is the future of marketing. Stephanie McMahon retweeted that.
Yeah.
Philanthropy is the future of marketing. There you go. I don't have to say anything else. That validates everything I just said. The match is okay. It's completely meaningless. And at the end of 3 hours, people kind of want the show to be done, really. So, there you go. I tell you what's funny, Matt, is that Roman Reigns is pretty much in every single main event on Raw nowadays. It's just kind of a given. It's kind of weird that they put him out there when everyone's burned out or turned off the show.
That's true.
Kind of puts the odds against him a little bit there. I'm sure they don't think of it.
It's not like Styles in the main event and people, maybe a couple more people would have stuck around.
It's one of those things there, Matt, like, even if it is Styles, I mean, people are still burned out by that point, right? There's still going to be people that leave the show anyway, so... still,
kind of why I compare it to sort of like WCW, where the middle of the show really good, main event not so much.
Yeah. So Gallows and Anderson show up. Del Rio tries the most devastating finishing move in wrestling history, but that can't stop the power of WWE's desires to keep Roman strong. So he kicks out, spears Del Rio, pins him. And then he fights off the odds before Styles can level him with a phenomenal forearm. All in all, then, so that's the end of the show. I thought it was meh. It was okay.
Of some of the Raws we've had recently, it wasn't that good.
No, they've been the Raws in terms of quality have been petering out a little bit towards the end of the month, which actually you would think it would go up the other way, but still. It's a show that petered out in that second half, which is kind of the formula of the show, right? They seem to be a lot of matches set up for the pay-per-view. They tried to give time to all of them, but it was kind of hit and miss. Some bits were okay. There wasn't one bit I could say, this was fantastic.
If there was one part I would go back and watch, it was X. I can't think of one either.
No, I can't think of one on top of my head, so there we are. So, then we give what's our review of it then? Do we say skip it or watch it? Give it one.
Skip it, to be fair.
You going with a skip it?
I'll go with skip it. I mean, other than just for the Gallows Anderson debut, it's nothing more than, oh, Miz, I'm coming for your IC belt. Oh, okay. Like, there wasn't, like, do you know the one thing, the most we've seen of Kalisto recently was, hey guys, this Sunday at Payback, Kalisto's in the kickoff show again.
Yeah.
Against Ryback again.
Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous. You know what, Matt? I think you convinced me. I'm going to go with a skip it as my review for this week. So a skip it. Maybe a bit of a harsh skip it because I do think like Gallows and Anderson, their debut, they did have a good match.
That was it. That was the one thing.
There was some other all right stuff.
One thing.
All right, fair enough. Let's get to our WWE. You're so much better at persuading me than I am with you.
I'm like that guy who's just like, why are we going to do it? Because if I need a reason, come on.
Yeah. It works too well on me, which is a bit unfortunate, but still. WWE Payback 2016 predictions. Let's get into this, Matt, as the event will be airing tonight as this gets released. So, talking about Ryback and Kalisto, I'm sure that at very least both these guys will be hoping there's actually a crowd to wrestle in front of, because when they did it at WrestleMania, there wasn't anyone in there. So,
yeah,
that's a bit of a shame. I think Kalisto will retain. I don't think WWE cares enough to do a title change. That's the way I see it.
I don't think anyone cares to watch it.
Well, I'm not watching it, so...
Nope.
Who do you think's winning, though, Matt?
I don't care.
Give a prediction now.
Do you know what the thing is? I'm actually just going to go with Ryback.
Go Ryback to win the championship.
Not that I care. Like I said, I actually forgot, for a brief moment, I forgot there even was a US title.
I thought you were going to go US title match. You said US title.
Nope, full on. I forgot there was a US title.
It's quite a stark contrast to like last year, where it was like involved in a double championship thing with the world championship,
or every Raw involved something involving a US title match.
Yeah. Still. Into the actual matches on the show, not on the pre-show. Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. What do you reckon, Matt?
I don't know.
You don't know? I think it's quite easy.
It's Corbin.
It's got to be Corbin, surely. I hope it's a good match, but it's got to be Corbin. And I don't think they're going to give Ziggler the win over a new guy, because they don't give a shit about Ziggler. That's the way I look at it anyway. So I think Corbin. You're going Corbin as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Enzo and Cass versus the Vaudevillains.
Enzo Cass. Oh, no. Yeah. This one's awkward. I'm expecting a fuck finish.
Yeah, I'm exactly... Well, I say not fuck finish. I think there's going to be interference.
Yeah. Someone's getting screwed.
I feel as if the rivalry with the Dudleys was manufactured and then basically set aside for no reason, to the point where I think the Dudleys are going to get involved and cost Enzo and Cass the match. So the Vaudevillains will go on to win, and they'll go on to face the New Day, which they won't beat. So there we are.
Yeah.
Charlotte versus... sorry, what is yours? I didn't let you choose. What is your prediction?
Fuck finish.
You're just going fuck finish. Who's gonna win though, Matt? Or you think no one's gonna win?
Maybe.
Why are you being so mysterious?
I don't know. I'm gonna go with nobody to win.
Okay, fair enough.
The fact that we get the Dudleys who just literally go, you know what? I'm done with this. Destroy everyone. And to the point, nobody wins, and the Dudleys stand tall.
Yeah. Well, there might
not
be
out of the realms of possibility.
Not out of the realms of possibility. Charlotte versus Natalya. Who do you think's winning?
I don't know.
You don't know? I'm going with Charlotte to retain, personally.
And I think you'd be correct in going with that.
I think this is a stopgap feud. So that's the way I look at it. I think they'll have a good
One thing
match.
I find actually really bizarre is the fact that it's like, where is Sasha?
They've kind of been doing mixed women's. Oh, she wasn't even on Raw this week, was she?
No.
Wow.
Like apparently, like Becky Lynch is getting a feud with Emma, but where's Sasha?
Maybe they're keeping Sasha away for a reason, so she can properly rival with Charlotte next month. But still, I tell you what,
Sasha.
I miss Sasha too. It's one of those things where I think that this would actually be a really good match. I think this would be a possible show stealer, but that's because we've seen these girls do what they can do.
Yeah.
And they're going to play up Brett and Rick being at ringside. Hell, if they even just redo the NXT match, most people will enjoy it. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
So you go with Charlotte to retain.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Now this is a tough one.
Do you know what? Right.
Go on.
I honestly don't know who. I can't. It's sort of that one where I can't really call it. I would love if this one finished double down.
Oh, what, like 10 count both of these guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's a really good idea. I wasn't even thinking that. I don't think they'll do it, but
but it's a really good idea.
Yeah. I
That's
think
how I'd book it.
Yeah. Well, you're a good booker then, Matt. It's one of those things where I reckon that WWE want this to be a 3 pay-per-view rivalry, though.
Yeah, I know.
That this is going to basically make up most of the majority of what these guys are doing for the next 3 months, fill in that gap until, well, not even until SummerSlam, because that's quite far away. Oh no, 3 months, yeah, well, roughly around then. Yeah. That's how I see it going. So it's who do I think is going to win then? I don't know. I reckon I'll go with Owens, although it could be any of them. It could be Sammy, so Owens gets annoyed and then demands a rematch, and then they have another match. Then they need a rubber match. It could be either way. So I'll go with Owens, Matt. What are you going to go with? You're going to go double down. You're being hopeful.
I don't think. I reckon it'll be Sammy to win, but I would go for the double down. If they're like, we're destined to do this forever, I'd love to see them just to take to the very limit. And if anything, it'd definitely be one of those, like, Owens had one of the greatest matches last year.
Yeah, it just got overshadowed by a lot of other really good ones, yeah.
Yeah, but he still, he still had a damn good match.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it got overshadowed. But it's almost like, it almost hit a point where it's like, Owens can have a very good singles match. And if there's one person who can drag out one of those very good singles matches out of Kevin Owens, it'll be Sami Zayn.
I think it's one of those things where Owens just hasn't been allowed to perform at the level that he was when he first came in. I don't think he needs someone to drag out a great match.
I'm not saying he has to drag out of it, but if there's one person who he knows, 100%, like, we don't even have to talk to have this match.
Yeah. Yeah, they've wrestled each other so many times that they know where they're going next with their spots. Yeah, it's so easy. So yeah, I think actually they'll get some time. I would love that double down finish, Matt. Though,
I would hope they get time. Yeah. If they don't get enough, I'll say if they get less than 10 minutes, they've been robbed.
Because this could be a show stealer match. It really could, but we'll see. Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho. One thing I will say about is that either this or the Sammy versus Owens match should have been made a number 1 contender match. Makes it some more meaning, right? Gives it a little bit more on the line, because both these matches are kind of meaningless if you look at it in that sense. Who do you think's winning then?
I'm going to go with Ambrose.
I'll go with Ambrose as well. I don't think Jericho's going to be around for much longer. I think he's doing his stuff and then he's moving on. So going on his break again. So if that is the case, then Ambrose to win. So Miz versus Cesaro.
Miz.
Yeah.
And she's going to get in the way.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's how I see it going. I think Miz retains. Maurice gets involved, as you say. Maybe calls a DQ, count out, whatever.
Not Maurice. She.
Oh, she. Oh, wow, Matt. Oh, you've been stung. I don't know where this unbridled hate comes from.
I just don't like it.
Let's move away from
It's that terrible thing. It's just like, I hated it beforehand. I wasn't a Maurice fan ever. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is good female wrestling. This is what women are capable of. Like, everyone's saying about, like, this is the future of the women's division. But you know what we need to do? We need to bring back a relic of the past, and not even a good one.
Matt, you've had your rant. You've ranted 3 times now at this point when it comes to Maurice, because you had one that no one ever saw. So
I don't even care if they brought back Caitlyn.
I thought she was all right.
I'd rather they brought back Caitlyn than Maurice.
Have you not seen some of her more risque photo shoots recently? It's like, whoa,
it's a bit much, but yeah, it's fine. I'll bring back Caitlyn.
Yeah. Okay then, Matt. The big talking point, the big prediction: Reigns versus Styles for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Where do you see this one going?
Reigns is walking out champion.
Yeah, that's exactly what my prediction is. I think the Usos will back him up. He'll manage to fend off Styles and Anderson and Gallows. He'll raise the title in the air and he'll be booed like a fucking idiot for it. So I think that WWE, Matt, they want a lengthy title reign for Roman to solidify him as the top guy. So I don't think losing it the month after WrestleMania is anywhere close to their plans. So... But
they're fools. They're fools. They will not learn. They do not listen, and they are forever destined to just fuck it up.
Yeah, I tell you what, Matt. It's one of those things where this could be very easily fixed by Rangers going heel in this match, but you know where they're going with this, and him being heel does not equate into their plans.
No,
because they want. And the next pay-per-view, Reigns and Usos against Styles and Gallows and Anderson. They want that match. So if that happens, then they're not going to try and turn both the Usos and Reigns heel. I just don't see them trying. They don't even want to turn any of them heel. They just want to act as if people are going to suddenly boo AJ Styles because Roman Reigns is such an overface, which it clearly is. Fucking, there's so much wrong with that. But... still, that's how I see it ending. I think it's going to be another awkward end to a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There'll be 2 in a row for WWE. So,
and it's probably going to be another one of those where I get halfway through the show and I'm like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. And then by the end of it, I completely lost track of what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. It might be one of those things. I tell you what, this show, Payback in general, they've got a lot of singles matches on there. On the card, and they've got I think the Dean Ambrose, Chris Jericho, Sami Zayn, and Owens, because they don't. There's nothing on the line in those matches. I think that it may end up making the show peter out. I'm sure the matches will be good, but in terms of people being very invested in the storyline,
I think that's probably why they were so insisting on the video packages.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, we've had this long history sort of thing, and. You know, I came here, then he came here, and we've all been chasing each other through forever sort of thing. And it's like, okay, cool. Now I get what's going on. Yeah.
But I think, no, Matt, is that this, I think the pay-per-view will have some good wrestling. I just don't think it'll be one that's very memorable. That's the only reason I'll say. I know that WWE have been teasing that Finn Balor apparently is going to come up. They posted a picture today of what if this was the case of just Finn Balor in front of a Raw logo. I don't think he's coming out here.
Apparently he might be coming at Payback now.
If he comes out and Payback, it'll be interesting, but I don't think he's going to. I think that WWE, they're very insistent at the moment. They want to stay the course of Reigns. They're being very stubborn on it, but they are, and this is where we are. And we'll see how it all pans out. It won't end ugly if it does end the way that we're predicting it will, but that's WWE's problem, isn't it? Not really ours.
Yeah.
All right, then, Matt. Is there anything else that you would like to speak about on this episode 123? Jeez, that's a lot.
No.
No, nothing else. So then we'll do our plugs, and then we can get on our merry way. I hope the audio's gone fine, considering that we've had the new mic installed. Thanks a lot, guys, by the way, because you guys just watching and us getting the ad revenue is what able for us to get upgrades for the actual show, and make the audio a lot better for you guys. I mean, it's going to be a lot easier. We're actually doing we're doing a lot of changes in the
so we can have nice things.
Yeah, well, we even changed the way that we're recording. We changed our headset. Well, my headset.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, episode 125 is coming around, so new graphics are coming. It's kind of like a new chapter for the podcast, and I am working on some things here and there that Matt knows of and stuff like that, and just don't think that we haven't got anything up our sleeve, because we certainly have. And we've got a few little treats and a few little things to come up with every now and then. So onwards and upwards, basically, is what we're saying here on the show. It's been great stuff. Let's do our plugs, Matt. If you guys want to get in touch with us, Facebook is the best way. You can contact us on facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. Our Twitter handle, handed to us by the wrestling gods themselves, is
at Talk Wrestle Pod.
It is. Quite the gift from the wrestling gods.
Indeed.
And of course,
Foley gifted it personally.
Yeah, he handed it to you on a golden USB stick.
If only.
If only. If you guys want to send us any audio questions, you can do so, or you can send us any private emails to our email account, which is letstalkwrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. All that stuff is in the description below. And of course, if you want to leave any questions to be answered on this website, on this podcast, forgetting what I am now, then you can do so in the comment section below. And all of those, it's at the end of the podcast. I'm fucked, Matt. I'm done. I'm done. It's late, and I think the majority of my brain power has fizzled out of my ears. So I think we should wrap this shit up. What do you think?
I think we should end off, yes.
Yeah. All right then, guys. Hope you have a great week. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, hit that subscribe button if you're new. I keep forgetting to do that, but still. And I'll catch you all next time, and I hope you have a great week.
And we'll catch you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.